So now we're going to be blessed with a presentation by Connie Baxter Marlow, and she'll talk about the first 50 years.
Hi, I'm going to sit here and speak. I hope that's okay. I'm Connie Baxter Marlow, and I've been seeking the truth all my life. I am descended from the Maine Baxters, the philanthropic Maine Baxters, who my great-grandfather gave money to the city of Boston when he died to create a pantheon to honor the founders of New England. And this Office of New Bostonians is a result of that bequest of my great-great-great-grandfather. And his intent was to educate people as to the founding ideals of this nation. And he wanted this pantheon to occur so that our nation would be educated, and the misunderstandings and misconceptions that are prevalent today would not have occurred. And right now, we're in a position, right around this Thanksgiving celebration, of confusion. We're in a position of confusion, and that would not have occurred had we had a place where the founders of this nation were honored. And what I want to touch on is the fact that the school children are celebrating this feast, this idyllic scene between Indians and the Pilgrims. And the families are gathering to honor this feast, this first feast. And our first Americans, long misunderstood, are standing up in anger around this celebration. And what I want to point out is, what is it that has caused this confusion? Is it because we're not educated? And is it because this first 50 years brought a time of coming together that has not happened since that time? The Mayflower Pilgrims, who started in Scrooby, England, were, in my opinion, inspired individuals. They stood up against their king because there were unjust laws that required people to worship in a certain way. These people, because the Bible had been translated into English, they discovered through the Bible that God intended for the human to live in freedom, freedom to live according to their conscience. And these people risked their lives, stood up against their king, committed treason, were imprisoned. These people, who were Cambridge-educated leaders of their communities, farmers in the rural areas of England, committed treason because they wanted the freedom to live according to their conscience. They fled England. They went to Holland for 12 years. They came to this land. And when they arrived in this land, they met a great chief of the native people, the chief Massasoit, Osamiquin. And what I believe happened at that time was two inspired individuals met. The native understanding of the nature of the universe was aligned with what the Pilgrims saw and understood. And I believe that these people recognized in each other the human spirit, the human heart. And they came together in peace. In their first meeting, Massasoit and the Pilgrim governors created a peace treaty that was to last for their entire lifetime. These people lived in peace and friendship. And I would like to read a little something from the writings of one of the Pilgrims when he was in the home of Combatant, one of the Wampanoag elders. This was just after he had saved the life of Massasoit. Massasoit had been dying, and the Pilgrims came to honor their friend, Massasoit. This was in 1623. And they brought a conserve to him that saved his life. And after that occasion, another leader of the Wampanoags asked them, "Would you do this for me if I got sick?" And they said, "Of course." And then the combatant asked him, "How is it that you dare come into Indian country, so far into Indian country by yourself?" And this Edward Winslow wrote, and I'll quote, he said, where there is fear, there, oh, wait a minute, I've lost that. I had it. Darn it. Anyway, I'm not going to quote that right now. But what I wanted to do also is read another quote from them, from Edward Winslow, and to show you this common ground. He said, "Observing us to crave a blessing on our meat before we did eat, and after to give thanks for the same, he asked us, what was the meaning of that ordinary custom? Hereupon, I took occasion to tell them of God's work of creation and preservation, of his laws and ordinances, especially of the 10 Commandments, all of which they hearkened unto with great attention. I also told them that whatsoever good things we had, we received from God as the author and giver thereof, and therefore craved his blessing upon that we had and were about to eat, that it might nourish and strengthen our bodies. And having eaten sufficient, being satisfied therewith, we again returned thanks to the same our God for that of our refreshing. This all of them concluded to be very well, and said they believed almost all the same things, and that same power that we called God, they called Khitan." So this common ground, these visionary people honored that commonality in each other for this 50 years. And this Thanksgiving feast that we look back at and honor is what I believe to be a source of inspiration, a place we can look to in our history, that we came together in our hearts and honored each other's humanity. And I'm a mother of 3 children, and for me, what's important is that we hand our children and their children's children a world of peace and abundance and freedom. And I believe we can take this time, this origin story of our nation, and we can look at it, and we can, if we're curious, we can do a real research and see what went on, what was in the heart of these people, these extraordinary people for that first 50 years of our nation. And I promise you, I've done the research, and what you'll find is extraordinary inspiration, extraordinary love between these people. And we can, I believe that the controversy now comes from broken promises. Did they promise us something that we haven't lived up to? Are we angry? Are we confused? Are we disappointed? Are we just wondering who to blame for the fact that it didn't work out the way they had set the beginning to be? And our founders who came forth after that, who wrote the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution, did they promise us something that we haven't become? Are we, in fact, living what this great nation can be in our daily lives and in the world? What we promised our children we'd be with the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, and that first 50 years, when our children go and they enact that first Thanksgiving, Are we living that? Have we come together with our native people? Have we come together with all the people who make up this nation in our hearts as equals at a table? I don't think so. But I think that inspiration can take us there. So I just say to you to look inside and go into that place in your heart where we all have that common ground, that common knowing, and live from that place and go forward for all our children. You asked about the Indians saving the lives of the Pilgrims. Well, they had a lot of... Wampanoags. In the reading that I've done, I discovered that these people were in fact farmers. When they came to this land, they knew every tree on this land. They knew how to hunt, how to fish, how to plant. They did not know how to plant Indian corn because they didn't have Indian corn. And Squanto taught them how to plant this corn. And he taught them, because the fields of this village had been over-tilled, where they had arrived in this Patuxent, Squanto taught them how to take the fish and put it into the ground before they put in the corn, so that they would have a good harvest. But the Pilgrims had stores of food on the Mayflower. In fact, they often gave food to the Indians. And I can read to you directly from, the journal of William Bradford, of how they gave them biscuits and peas and all manner of food. The Indians would come to them and they would offer them food. So this great misunderstanding, misconceptions. And I can only ask you all, if you're really curious, to do your own reading. This is a little book that's very accessible. It's called Homes in the Wilderness, and it's a very easy to read excerpt from William Bradford's journals. And one thing I just wanted to, that quote that left my mind, I just want to read it to you because it's very beautiful. And when Winslow was asked, how did he dare come into Indian country? He answered, "Where was true love, there was no fear. And mine heart was so upright towards them, that for mine own part, I was fearless to come amongst them." If you do this reading, you'll find the word love on almost every page. Okay? This was an extraordinary time in the history of this nation, a time of love and friendship. And the first Thanksgiving feast is a beautiful symbol of that we all carry. Every single person in this nation carries that symbol of coming together and feasting and beauty and love that occurred in the founding of this nation. I just wanted to say one more thing, and that is that because my family gave most everything away in my lifetime, my family gave Mount Katahdin in Maine to the people of Maine. I spent my life searching for what I considered the missing pieces in my paradigm. Why did my family give everything away? And what I discovered was the Native American cosmology, the Native American worldview. And I realized that what the Native people are carrying for humanity are the missing pieces to the paradigm. And I have been spending the last 15 years of my life, creating forums for visionary elders to share their understanding of the nature of the universe. Because until we come to understand the true nature of the universe, we cannot get out of the mess that we find ourselves in right now, right in this room. The differences, the hurt, the pain, the anger, the misconceptions, the misunderstandings. Because at this level of belief that we are separate from each other, that there is another, we can't get out. The native understanding, the indigenous understanding knows that we're all one, that the whole universe is interconnected. So I just wanted to be sure that you know where I'm coming from, and that I have spent my life championing what the native people are carrying for humanity and the future. And that's key. Thank you.
Thank you.